bank employees, young office bearers of different bank unions and federation are participating in this. We have Comrade Debasish Basu, General Secretary of our organization. I have some questions. First of this summit.
Now this is
What is the purpose of this summit, sir?
no. This summit is meant for the younger comrades, younger members of our union. They will be assembling here, and they will take part in this summit. We know that during the last 14-15 years, in the banks, more than 5.5 lakh employees have joined, and they are very young. And we hope that they will play a very important role as employees of the bank, as well as members of the unions. So to equip them about the present scenario, so far as banking industry is concerned as a whole, we are arranging this youth summit.
How is this different from regular conferences?
No, the conferences are obligation of the constitution. Every union has its own constitution, and as per this constitution obligation, we are holding conferences at a regular interval, of course. But those are some formal incidences. But these type of summits, these are very new, and we understand that this is the first of this kind that is being organized here by Bank Employees Federation of India. So this is somewhat different from the conferences, which are being held constitutional obligation as constitutional obligation. But these are our responsibility to equip our younger generation comrades so far as the banking industry
How many
is
members
concerned.
are expected to participate?
Now we expect that more or less 130 from different parts of the country will attend, and they are all less than 40 years of age. So they will be having more than 20 years of service left in the banking industry to serve the nation and to work for the unions.
While organizing the temporary employees, which has to be opposed first, the government policy to exclude sanitation, watch and ward, catering, etc. from the core activity of the industry, or the RBI instruction to the banks for recruiting temporary employees in these areas.
No, the service that you are telling, these are all very much core banking service required every day. Say for example, if sanitation, you take sanitation, there are seldom examples that, say for example, a branch manager, he may not come to the branches, but the branch will function. Any employee or any official, if they do not come to the branch for definite purposes, the bank will function. But if a sanitation employee, that is a sweeper, if he does not come, he or she does not come to the branch, we have to arrange for an alternative. Without a sweeper, a branch cannot and should not function. So these are very important core activities, but it is altogether a fact that the banks, particularly the public sector banks, and also different banks, I am not taking the banks, other banks than the public sector banks, because they are following suit of the public sector banks. These type of employees, that is the sweepers, wash and ward staff means armed guard, they are not recruiting for years together, and these are being outsourced to the somewhat to the agencies, somewhere some daily wages are being utilized in this. So it is also very important, firstly, to go for demand of the recruitment in all cadres, including the part-time sweepers or for that matter armed guards, and secondly, whosoever is working as a temporary worker, we are having a responsibility to organize them. So on these two folds, the unions are functioning, and definitely in today's summit, the participants will be given an opportunity to discuss on this and take a future course of action.
Is the differential wage weakening the collective bargaining strength because they may become strike breakers and they will not becoming members of the union?
No, there is some tendency to stay away from the union, of course, and I will not blame them, because it is our responsibility to make them aware of the importance of the trade union, and of course it is the responsibility of the leaders also to involve the cadres into the trade union activities. So we are not telling this way that they are strike breakers. In banking industry also, strike breakers do not exist. Only thing is that some apathetic attitude are there, for which maybe trade union are responsible. So without blaming or without making them responsible for not taking part in the daily trade union activities, we are trying our level best so that all employees who are the main force of the union take part in the day-to-day trade union activities, and of course in this summit also we will take this message to them, particularly to those employees, as I have already said, who will stay into the banking industry for the next more than 2 decades. It is their responsibility also to get involved into trade union activities and organize themselves against these onslaughts that is being taken up against the industry, the people, and of course the employees.
In the present background of no recruitment to clerical and sub-staff cadre, how do you envisage to improve the customer service?
No, actually it is our responsibility because we are working in a service industry. Whatever be the impediments, whatever be the problems, a message is being given from our union, at least to the members and also to the employees in general, that for survival, for our survival, customer service is very important. Say for example, we are giving the instances of the BSNL, such a big and a very prime public sector industry. This BSNL has become sick. The employees are not responsible. It is a government policy. But people are not having faith because they are not getting the service. So service we have to render. This is the message. And so far as the problems are concerned, the unions will try to eradicate these problems. That is our responsibility. So in this summit also, some group discussion will be taken place on the customer service, as because this is our primary objective, to satisfy the customers, as because they are very important stakeholders who are always supporting us in our fight. Whatever be the fight, be it against privatization, be for the recruitment, or whatever demands we are lodging, these stakeholders are always supporting us, and it is our responsibility to deliver service to them, whatever the problems we are having.
The State Bank of India has started one subsidiary to facilitate the outsourcing of employees. How do you see this?
No, subsidiaries, not only State Bank of India, Bank of Baroda is also contemplating for forming a subsidiary for outsourcing. But whether a subsidiary is formed or not, jobs are outsourced. This is also a very problem for not only of us, for the country as a whole. Because we do not think that the way the employees are giving service, despite there are so many difficulties, you are telling about the inadequate staff. It is not inadequacy of staff only. It is a system also. In different places, the system are not supporting us. Many times we are not getting signals. Services are delayed. Still what I understand, that this tendency is there, and it is not confined to the banking industry also. You have already come to know that the government, during the presentation of this year's budget, they have declared different initiatives for performance, and that is why these apprentices are coming in the banking industry from 2020. Initially we opposed to engagement of apprentices, but after this budget, many public sector banks are engaging apprentices for their jobs, and for these apprentices 30% of the remuneration is being given by the banks. And most irony of the fact is that these apprentices will be engaged only for 1 year. After 1 year, some new apprentices will come. So in this acute unemployment crisis of the country, these type of exploitation also we are opposing. We are not opposed to apprentice as a person, but we are opposed to this policy, to this initiative, by way of which on one side permanent employment is being stopped, and secondly taking advantage of this acute unemployment crisis of the country, some young people are being utilized or exploited like anything. So on these two counts, we will continue our fight, and in this summit also we are going to discuss about all these things.
Thank you so much, comrade. Greetings for the success of this summit.